You know what's strange? Some of the most perceptive, emotionally intelligent people you'll ever meet didn't develop those abilities through books, classrooms, or years of meditation. They developed them because, at some point in their lives, they had to. Their nervous system wasn't trained by choice, but by circumstances that forced them to read rooms, predict moods, and think several steps ahead, just to feel safe. Psychologists have started calling this traumatic intelligence. And if you've never heard of it before, that's exactly why this matters. Here's the psychological premise. Trauma doesn't only wound people. In many cases, it also sharpens them. Research in developmental psychology suggests that children who grow up in unpredictable or emotionally complex environments often develop heightened sensitivity to social cues, emotional patterns, and nonverbal communication. Their brains, especially the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, become wired early to detect subtle signals most people completely miss. The result is a form of intelligence that looks quiet on the outside, but runs incredibly deep on the inside. The first sign: you can read a room before anyone says a word. You walk into a space and something shifts in you, a quiet alertness. You pick up tension in someone's posture. A micro-expression that flashes for less than a second. A silence that feels heavier than it should. This isn't mystical intuition. It's pattern recognition. Your brain was trained early to scan for emotional data. Because at some point, that scanning kept you safe. The second sign: you're deeply attuned to other people's needs, sometimes before they are. You notice when someone's struggling, even when they say they're fine. You sense shifts in energy, before they process it themselves. Psychologists call this hyperempathy. It often develops in people who grew up needing to track the emotional states of caregivers closely. You learn to feel others, because your environment required it. Third, you're an exceptional problem solver, especially under pressure. When things fall apart around you, something in you goes calm. You don't freeze. You adapt. This is what researchers call stress inoculation. Your brain becomes calibrated for high-stakes situations, because high-stakes situations were once your normal. Fourth, you think deeply about human behavior, almost compulsively. You analyze why people do what they do. You replay conversations. You search for meaning behind actions others don't even notice. You became a student of human nature. Because understanding people once felt essential to your well-being. Now pause for a second. And ask yourself this. Do you notice people's emotions before they even say anything, and then pretend you didn't? Because if you do, you're probably recognizing this pattern in yourself already. Fifth, everything you've heard so far, the perceptiveness, the empathy, the analytical mind, these aren't weaknesses dressed up as strengths. They're genuine cognitive adaptations. They tell a story about how responsive the human brain really is. Sixth, you have a highly developed sense of self-reliance. You don't wait for people to rescue you. You quietly build your own solutions. When support wasn't consistent, competence became your default. Seventh, you feel things more intensely than people around you. Music hits deeper. Injustice feels personal. Small kindnesses genuinely move you. This emotional depth comes from a sensitized emotional system. One that doesn't just observe the world, it feels it. Eighth, you struggle to trust easily. But when you do trust, it's profound. This isn't cynicism. It's adaptive skepticism. Your brain learned early that not all safety signals were real. So it built filters. And those filters make your connections fewer, but far more meaningful. Ninth, you have a complex relationship with rest. Slowing down can feel uncomfortable. Almost unsafe. When things go quiet, your mind doesn't relax. It scans. This is your nervous system doing what it learned to do, stay alert. And learning to rest becomes a form of healing. And the 10th sign, maybe the most defining one. You carry a quiet but unshakable sense of meaning. You don't move through life casually. You've looked closely at pain, yours and others, and something in you refused to let it be meaningless. Research on post-traumatic growth shows that many people who navigate adversity emerge with deeper clarity about what matters and why. You learned wisdom earlier than most. Here's what's important to understand. Traumatic intelligence isn't something to celebrate without acknowledging the cost. The sharpness is real. But so was the pressure that created it. Psychology doesn't say hardship only damages people. It also transforms them. The perceptiveness you carry, the empathy you extend, the way you analyze the world. These aren't coincidences. They're the architecture of a mind that had to grow quickly, and did. The question now isn't how you got here. The real question is, what are you going to do with the intelligence you built along the way?